Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know.
Do it for Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Hey. Do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings, it's my favorite show. Do it for Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Hey. Do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings. Big hopes and dreams as we cover our kings. Never cover the kingdom, but we loving our kings. And we covered your prayers as we doing our thing. Big Deuce with the par, Lil Mo on the screen. Solo or together, still do it for team. Never switch up for $1 or revenue stream. So we always got each other, balance out the beam. Deuce and Mo, and that's the end of the theme song. Do it for Deuce and Mo.
We are live! Oh, happy Wednesday night. Kings coming back home after a loss in Denver. A tough one. Without Malik Monk, without Domantas, Sabonis, Kings had their chances, but they come up short. How we doing?
What up, Deuce?
Hey.
Hey, Morgan.
Hey.
I'm rooting for y'all.
Hi.
A big game on Friday night, Morgan.
Oh, we're already talking about that?
I'm just putting out the vibes right now. Tonight is a bounce back podcast for Deuce Mason. What? Is that Carlin flopping around?
It's fine. It's fine.
Bring it up here. He needs a little love. Carlin, come here, Car.
Oh.
Come here, Car. Come here.
Oh, you're the one.
Come here. Oh. You don't want love?
Damn, dude.
You're getting love.
Oh, now he's getting into the bed. He's like, no, I swear I'll lay down. That's what you
He
get.
needs love after what happened tonight. After what happened tonight in Denver. How about the officiating tonight, huh?
Oh. Oh, yeah. Why do you need a bounce back?
Because last podcast, I realized after, thanks to you, I was in a fog and I could not figure it out. How many times I started a sentence, I couldn't figure out where I was going. I paused and you're like, okay, no one's going to notice this. And you're right. Maybe some did not, but I noticed it and I felt it. And then you're like, didn't you have therapy today? I'm like, oh yeah. I had a very intense therapy session on Monday morning.
Yeah.
Where I did EMDR, which is reprocessing some trauma. Not to get deep and dark on you, but let's do it, right? Anyway. It was really intense. And, reading about it after, I'm like, oh, yeah. When you go through something emotional like that, reprocessing, at the end of a long day, your brain may not be firing at all cylinders, and it wasn't.
Autopilot.
Yes.
And I even said to you afterwards, I said, hey, because sometimes we'll have breakdowns of what we like or don't like of our podcast.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, constructive criticism time. Really felt like you weren't taking in what I was saying. You weren't really listening to me. And it makes sense because your brain was full.
Yeah.
Full of a lot of other things.
So what I need you to do is close your eyes.
Oh, okay.
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 We're going to reprocess the game tonight. Okay. So go ahead and start tapping. Start tapping. Speed it up. Okay. I want you to think about the officiating tonight. I want you to think about Denver shooting 30 free throws and Sacramento shooting 14. I want you to think about Jamal Murray with 15 free throws, one more than the Kings as a team. Okay, stop.
Okay.
Tell me, where'd your mind go? What were you saying when you were thinking about that?
I felt, anger at first. And then I felt like control what you can control toward the end.
Whoa, were you
I know.
really?
I went from first to
Wow.
anger to just look, you just gotta, it's like anything in life. Like things are going to be thrown at you.
Yeah.
And you can only do what you can. And sometimes it's just going to be unfair and it's going to be challenging.
Yeah. Also, I've seen the vibes on social media. I saw DeMar DeRozan's comments too. I also saw Michael Malone's comments after the game.
Ooh.
Tonight is a night where no one from Sacramento to Denver, fans, players, coaches on either side are happy about the officials tonight. No one is. But I ultimately thought pretty fun, intense playoff field game.
Agreed. I had a lot of fun.
Got me pretty juiced to see how the Kings were coming out swinging. They competed, did some different shit tonight.
Yeah. Even without Sabonis and Monk. Yeah.
We have a lot to discuss. If you have not done it yet, make sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe, you basketball sickos. Morgan just got back to Sacramento after being in San Francisco, so shout out to her.
Give me a hell yeah.
Thanks.
She needs to bring the energy on this final stretch run with a day off tomorrow. I believe in her, and I know she's going to be able to do it in such a big time way.
Okay, the term is not passive aggressive, but what is that? What is that?
No, I'm believing in you. You had a long day. I believe in you.
No.
Look, Morgan, I inspired Mason Jones to score 49 points in a game.
Can we show that really quick?
No.
Really?
If you want to see it on
No,
social media.
I think it's...
No, we're not doing
I
it.
want to show it because...
Maybe later.
Okay. Later, because I wanted to go over what you said later to me.
Yeah.
And that, you don't even... Exactly. You just said, yeah, and you weren't listening. I said... What you said to me right after?
Yeah, I heard you say that, and I was like, I don't remember what I said. That's what I'm saying. So I was listening.
So
don't do that.
What I said, or what I was, that's a middle finger. What I was saying was when you're like, yeah, I should have gone full heel
Yeah.
and just went, I'm Mr. Inspirational. I just loved that bit.
Yeah, it's a good bit. But enough about that. Let's talk some Kings tonight. I also have a debut of a new game we're going to play at the end of the show called Who Did That?
Okay.
You excited for it?
Mm-hmm.
What the hell? Why
I
not?
am.
What?
Is it really? Is it is it basketball related?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm down.
What else would it be?
You know,
World events? Hey, did you watch a speech last night? What do you want me? Hey, who did that? Let's talk tariffs. Like, what do you think I'm going to do?
Give me a hell yeah.
All right. Ready to go?
I am
Deuce and
so
Mo
ready.
coming down. 3, 2, 1. Hit my music.
Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know.
Hey, welcome into the Deuce and Mo podcast. Recording this on a Wednesday night. The Kings wrapping up a 4-game road trip in a Mile High City. Hey, Morgan, did you know in Denver they play at an elevation of 5,280 feet? Have you ever heard that before?
Yes, because it's usually on their jersey.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I thought it was a new thing. Anyway, the Kings were taking on the Nuggets. They were doing it not only without Domantas Sabonis, but without Malik Monk. How is it all going to look tonight? Well, the Kings come out swinging a 42-piece in the first quarter, but the Nuggets settled back in. Kings did some interesting things against Jokic, but the story of this one, a couple of things. The non-Jokic minutes, and from both teams, both fan bases, the officials. Sacramento struggled in the final quarter, being outscored 32-17, and they fall in Denver tonight, 116-110. With the loss, they're 32-29, go 3-1 on that road trip, and come back home Friday night for an epic showdown against De'Aaron Fox and the San Antonio Spurs. How beautiful is that? This podcast is presented by our friends over at Sentivo Vineyards and Winery. I'm Deuce Mason. That's Morgan Reagan. How you doing, Mo?
I'm great now that I'm back.
What? From San Francisco you're talking about?
Yeah. No, I'm good. I'm back. I'm good. Love it.
What's that mean?
Nothing. It's after a loss, sometimes it sucks driving back. But I was fine after the loss, and now I'm like, I don't know. You just like, and maybe you process shit. I don't even know.
Yeah, you get a long way. When you're driving home after a win, you're feeling good. You're like, oh, the fog. I can't wait to cough in the fog. Everything's happening.
And they've been winning so much lately. Yeah. And again, I had my reaction instantly after this game was like, man, that was fun. That was so much fun. It just was like, God, they were so close to winning
Yep.
this one, and especially being down guys. And so, yeah, some frustrations.
Well, DeMar DeRozan was frustrated after this one, Morgan. He talked about the fourth quarter with Chris Biederman from the B, a quarter where Sacramento shot just 4 free throws and the Nuggets shot 13. DeRozan said, quote, "The refs were terrible, terrible as shit, simple as that. Bunch of times we got hit, we got smacked, 3 or 4 shots out there, clearly got hit, got smacked. They get the same call on the other end, throws off our whole rhythm, gives them momentum at home, makes it tough on us to execute."
Totally fair. And I can understand the frustrations. I think something you said to me, even you text me during the game, you're like, man, this game has playoff feel to it.
Yep.
And that's what the physicality felt like. But I do feel like it was on both ends, but I agree it would really throw off the Kings.
Michael Malone, after the game, was asked on whether smaller players are allowed to get away with more physicality fronting Jokic in the post. Quote, "Next question. There's so many things I want to say if you guys want to start a GoFundMe, ... Come on, Michael. You make how many millions a year? Got to start GoFundMe
Yeah.
for a little NBA fine? Yeah, so that was a large conversation after the game with coaches, players, and even fans on social media. There were definitely some tough calls down the stretch. I mean, I thought a couple ones that bugged me.
Yeah.
I don't love starting a show talking about refs, by the way.
I know. It feels, and here's the thing.
But it's a headline.
It is, and I think as long as we are fair within our approach of how it was game altering, although if the Kings had won, that's not what we're starting with. It would definitely
point.
it would still be a topic.
If the Kings escaped with a win tonight, are we talking about the officials?
Maybe at one point.
Here's the perspective on tonight from me, and I know some people aren't going to love this shit, the Sacramento side. I'm kind of with Morgan. I thought the officials in general were not good tonight.
Yeah.
And there's no better proof than the fact that we saw 4 coaches' challenges, and all 4 of them were overturned. And they were like kind of obvious, like, oh, yeah, that was not a foul.
Yeah.
And both those coaches probably wish they had 3 to 4 more challenges they could have used tonight. It was that type of night. I did think it was physical. I think there are things that Jokic gets away with.
Sure.
And tricks, because he's such a smart player, that he gets away with some shit.
He
And I also
manipulates.
think on the other end, when smaller guys are on him, I think big guys have a disadvantage because you can kind of bump them and punch at them and push them and get away with it. Although there was a play I saw in the fourth quarter, Valanciunas going to work in the post on Jokic.
Yeah.
And Jokic on defense lowers his shoulder, boom, into him. I'm like, that's not a basketball move. So I don't know. I just leave this game going, I'm not going to say it was the officials. You know what the swing for me was tonight?
I agree with that. What?
The non-Jokic minutes. These are minutes where you have to win if you're the Sacramento Kings. Anytime you play the Denver Nuggets, you got to win the non-Jokic minutes.
Yes.
Not only did they not win the non-Jokic minutes tonight, the Kings got clapped in the non-Jokic minutes. 22-9, Denver outscored Sacramento when Jokic was on the bench in this game.
Yes. And that's where this is exactly what I said even before we came into the podcast. I think it is absolutely fair to criticize what wasn't great tonight. And yeah, the officiating was obviously not great tonight. But oh well. Control what you can control. And you are supposed to control those non-Jokic minutes. And you didn't. You didn't do what you needed to do. And that's ultimately going to lead to disaster. And I understand how bad officiating or certain things can take you out of your flow, can mess with your head, but ultimately take you out of your flow of the game, trying to keep up with the pace, blah, blah, blah. And I just don't think that should be the thing that we are going to in this loss.
Yeah, I would say this. The one thing you can bring up, though, Sacramento had 40 points in the paint at the half.
And they finished with
52
right
on 6 of 17.
Great adjustments by the Denver Nuggets.
You could say that. You could say that. They played better defense, contesting shots better.
Yeah.
They also got away with some shit.
Yeah.
Right? They're 6 of 17. So there's probably some stuff in the paint where you get a little mixed up, and maybe you should be shooting free throws as opposed to being missed shot, we're going the other way. So I thought that was problematic a little bit in this game. But yeah, I mean, the officiating as a whole was not very good. It wasn't. Again, I don't like doing this stuff because it's like I feel like I'm like I come across like I'm being like a Homer guy where I'm like, oh, I can't believe this guy gets away with this. Look, DeMar DeRozan falls on almost every jumper. Okay, so he gets away with stuff too. I'm acknowledging that. I do think tonight, man, Jokic, when he saw a small on him, which was the majority of the game, we'll talk about that. He was really trying to like do these duck unders, trying to get the smaller defender in weird positions, and then he stumbles and gets called for a foul. Or excuse me, the defender gets called for a foul.
Deuce.
He's crafty.
And it's part of the game. And that's how I look at all these guys, how offensive players have tried to create space for themselves and do a better job of selling calls. I mean, we always talk about SGA being a foul hunter, but he finds a way to get the call, all these different things. And then, you see Jokic at times even do a little swing move, hook the arm, do whatever he needed to do. And all I'm thinking in my head is, Sabonis does the same shit with his elbow to create that same space. And you're just seeing it more and more, obviously, with someone like Jokic, because it's going to be so many possessions that he is obviously involved in.
Yep.
He's a vet. He's an MVP. He's a champion.
In the second half, Sacramento, 3 of 4 at the line. 3 of 4 at the line. Second half for Denver, 11 of 15. Yeah. Murray was 6 of 6. So those are numbers that will jump out to you. Does it tell the whole story tonight? No. And I think from Sacramento's perspective, they feel like it just wasn't balanced, that they were getting called for things that Denver was not.
And it was fair. I mean, I'm sure the officials will go back and look at some of the tape and even see some of the things that, like the physical plays that were happening. And I felt like maybe in a lot of ways this was being called like a playoff game, but then when it started just not being equal, that's when it was getting frustrating, because it's like you said, how are you supposed to go in the paint and get yours when there's a disadvantage if you're just not getting a call when certain things are altering your shot because it's illegal?
And I know I've said this to you before. I like having my challenges late in a close game. And when the Kings used their challenges tonight, I went, okay, well, you're right, but they're gone.
Yeah.
And it's a close game.
Yep.
They could have used one. Like there was one play where Keegan Murray was in position. He took a charge.
I know.
Called him for a foul.
I know.
A couple plays later, I think Trey Lyles took one too. That one was a little. His foot was on the line slightly. The heel, the back, slightly on the line.
But if you had a challenge, like, I mean, I guess not with that one, but with the Keegan one for sure.
I mean, even Keon, when he fouled Murray on the 3-point attempt,
I thought it was a high five.
I thought it was a high five, and that's why I'm getting so sick of this high five stuff, because it's like, by rule, high five, you should be safe. But if you don't have a challenge, it's just such a tough play to make because there's going to be contact. There's contact. I think more times than not, they're going to blow the whistle on that. And you better have a challenge. Otherwise, that guy is shooting 3 free throws.
Yep.
And that was enough to give Denver the lead at that point.
Yeah. And those are just huge, huge plays that I guess, I don't know, alter the momentum or whatever. And especially it felt like because the Kings still had a good enough flow, even though the start of that fourth, when the Denver Nuggets without Jokic went on an 11-2 run or whatever, it was a big run that they're going on non-Jokic minutes. And those are also the moments where I'm like, sure, this is a Denver Nuggets team that has experienced championship basketball. They know what they're doing to make in-game adjustments, blah, blah. But for the Kings, I just thought you're playing so many solid quarters together.
Yeah.
You just couldn't take it one more.
Yeah, outscored 32-17 in that fourth quarter. And there were stretches, especially in that second half, where you could tell they just missed having Malik Monk.
Oh, yeah.
I think the most striking thing for me was just the pace. They were walking that ball up a lot tonight. And, whether it was DeMar or that, it didn't matter. It's just they were not getting into their stuff early enough.
Yeah.
And you have to play with pace all the time. And that's where Malik, sometimes it could be a little chaotic at times, and he's trying to find the balance as a starting guy now. when to speed up, when to slow down. But, he gets that ball and he goes. And everyone kind of feeds off that.
Sure.
But there was a lot of standing around tonight. There was a lot of indecisiveness. And there were lineups out there with guys that aren't used to playing with each other.
Let's talk about the standing around for a second, because that was something where DeMar DeRozan went off in the third quarter, right? It's just basket after basket.
18 points, and they went, hey, get DeMar the ball and get out of his way.
Yeah, in that ISO situation, it was working. It was looking good. And I felt like they still weren't necessarily throwing the double at him in the fourth, but he started missing a couple more. Maybe the pressure, the contest, whatever it was, they're putting a little bit more strength on him, whatever. I felt like in those moments when it started to not work, I wanted to be like, all right, let's move that ball around a little bit better in the half court even. Everyone just started staying still.
Yep.
It became very stagnant. The ball was sticking with everyone. And it's frustrating because you were doing other things in that first half. And just because DeMar was going off in the third didn't mean you couldn't go back to what was also working back in the beginning of the game. And I just felt like the movement was lost at that point.
Yeah, and but also part of it too, I thought in the first half they were getting some more stops and they were getting out and going and knocking down threes. That's obviously a big difference in the game. I mean, you look at Sacramento, what was that at the half? Let's see here. Wow. They only took 10 threes in the first half. They were 5 of 10. They ended up taking 27 total. 11 for 27. That's another interesting number.
And you were the one saying that Doug wants them to take like close to 50,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's an absurd number.
Sure. But his point is to like let him fly. Like find your three. What are we doing? And
no better example late in that game was 114, 110.
Yeah.
And they're still alive. There's like 30 something seconds to go. Levine passes up. And look, Denver's defense was flying around
long arms.
But these are NBA shooters. You have a little bit of space. You got to let it rock. And I thought Levine maybe had a look in LaRavia too. And then LaRavia finally put one up and it was well off.
Yeah. I thought some of those decisions at the end, like everyone was hesitating, like who wants it? Who's going to shoot it? And it's like, you're all hoopers. You especially the ones with the basketball, like you're shooters. You're actual shooters. Like just put it up. Like give it a shot. Give it a try. And nobody seemed confident enough, especially with some of those long arms thrown at them. And I completely understand it, but I just felt the hesitation from everyone too.
And we talk about the Kings being upset, but DeMar DeRozan after the game being upset with the officials. The other thing, I think they got caught up in that too. There was too much talking and complaining. I kind of wanted Doug to just get teed up, to settle the guys down, saying, I got this, get teed up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And he's mentioned that before, with Trey Lyles, and Trey has talked about it too. When I got upset and I got that tee, Doug's like, that I can control that.
Yep.
I can handle that. That's my situation. I will do the talking. You do what you need to do. And in this game, it was just a little out of control for some of these guys. And it's going to happen. They're human. They're going to get frustrated when guys are getting physical with you and things aren't going your way. But it's now, how can you learn from this experience to not allow that to happen again?
Let's talk about some of the things I love tonight.
What did you love?
You know what? I love mixing it up. In my head, I'm going, it's going to be Valanciunas going head-to-head with Jokic.
Yeah.
And they start this game tonight with Keegan Murray defending Jokic. And a week and a half ago, the Lakers, when they smacked around the Nuggets, they did an excellent job defending Jokic and throwing different looks at him. And they put Rui on him at times. They mixed up the coverages. Sacramento did the same thing tonight, putting Keegan, who I thought worked his ass off and did a good job. And they had Valanciunas playing off of Westbrook.
Yeah.
Shout out to that guy today because he knocked down his shots.
He sure did.
Seems like he always hits threes against the Kings.
25 points, 4-7 from three-point land.
Yeah, I thought he was big time.
He was.
And then they also had LaRavia battle Jokic. Now, both those guys had to deal with foul trouble. There was even a stretch in this game late where Levine was on Jokic with some help. So what did you think about mixing that up for Sacramento?
Loved it. I felt like they were locked in. I felt like it re-energized them on the defensive end because it gave them an assignment that they were so hyper-focused on. And not to the point all the time where it was like they were forgetting other players or other things. But that is what started to happen there. I felt like even toward the end where you saw some of the downhill line drives from Murray, from Westbrook, from Brown, whoever the hell else wanted to get into the paint and score. It was happening because the points in the paint for the Denver Nuggets at the half was 20, I believe, 24 maybe. And
yeah, it was 24.
Okay, 24. And then they finished with more points in the paint than the Kings at 56. And my point to that is the Nuggets made some great adjustments even offensively with what the Kings were going to throw at them defensively, whether it was in the non-Jokic minutes or even when they were going small on Jokic, they were like, okay, well, and Michael Porter Jr., same thing. Like, okay, I got this drive. I got this. And so I thought ultimately the Kings, playing defense, switching or coming over and helping everything on Jokic, it made Jokic's life a little bit more difficult. Only 22 points and 15 rebounds.
Okay, but he did have 6 turnovers.
Hell yeah, he
and
did.
only 6 assists. It is crazy, big dude. We controlled the Jokic tonight. He only had 22, 15, 6 in this game on 9 of 18 shooting. But yeah, I mean, I don't. It's weird because he didn't feel like he controlled the game tonight.
Exactly.
I thought the other stepped up in a major way for Denver. Westbrook being that guy too. The second chance opportunities were massive in this game. 26-16 in favor of Denver. And in the second half, it was 16-6 Denver. So that was tough. We mentioned Denver's success in the paint in the second half. Well, Sacramento, we pointed out 12 points in the paint, 6 of 17 in the paint in the second half. That's a brutal number.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely brutal number.
Yeah. So I don't know. I liked that the Kings on the fly or with this roster for the first time could try some different things in a matchup, and they saw a lot of success from it. I mean, you and I were talking, and you mentioned that the Lakers were doing the same thing with Rui Hachimura defending Nikola Jokic, and just throwing these different assignments at Jokic can hopefully not only screw with his game, but can actually work on the basketball court too.
We mentioned LaRavia getting some time on Jokic. How about Jake LaRavia's impact in the first quarter? First half, he had 15 points in the first half. He finished with 15.
I know.
A little bit of a subplot of this game. Kings had 19 bench points in the first half, 0 in the second half. But LaRavia, right away, comes in, hits back-to-back threes, forces a turnover by Jokic.
On ball.
Oh, my God. He had another three, then he stole it from Jokic again and dunked it.
He was so active.
That energy. And what a difference it makes to have him out there, because it's just they lacked we know how much size they lacked before the deadline. We talked so much about Valanciunas, but for LaRavia to be out there with another guy with good size, he could play physical, and then when he's knocking down shots,
oh my gosh,
what a nice role player he is.
I love the length. I love his ability to get deflections, hands in the passing lanes, but also being able to, I guess, disrupt with that length in contesting shots, getting a hand in people's faces, being able to match up against just so many different bodies. And then also, like you said, contributing on the offensive end. Those are the little punches you're going to want to see from him all season long. And even if it's less minutes, but tonight he ended up playing 23.
6 of 10 shooting, 3 of 6 from downtown, 5 rebounds for him. He also had 5 fouls, 2 steals, dealing with Jokic a lot in his minutes out there. So impressive stuff from LaRavia.
Yeah, I completely agree.
You okay?
Yeah.
You were like itching or something. I don't know.
I'm always itching.
Is it this 3-in-1 road trip getting to you?
No, and honestly, when you just say that, 3-in-1.
That's what I'm saying. Perspective.
Yeah. Oh, dude,
if I would have told you
no.
before the trip that the Kings would go 3-on-1 on the road trip, but also, hey guys. Oh no, let's rewind.
Okay.
Kings are going to go on a 4-game road trip. Sabonis is pretty much going to miss 3 games on it.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. Houston. Dallas.
Which game did he get hurt in?
The Houston game.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Houston,
right in
Dallas,
the beginning.
And this game against the Nuggets. So 3 games. And Malik would miss 1.
Yeah.
What would you say?
I'd be like, oh man, are they 1-3, 2-2?
1-3. You would definitely say 1-3.
Yeah. I would feel that way.
They went 3-1.
They went 3-1.
Sabonis sitting the last pretty much 3 games, and Monk sitting tonight. That's the perspective, and that's what walking away, you go, wow, the Kings did have a chance tonight in a tough game, playoff type intensity. Guys were chirping. They're mad at the refs. The crowd was hot.
Good experience.
Good competition on both sides. It's just valuable minutes,
There we go.
late game situations for this group of guys that are getting to know each other still.
That's it. I usually would not feel like this late in the season and everything, but I think when I think about the matchup, what my expectations were going into this game, and also being down guys. I just thought the way that they rallied around one another was very encouraging. You know, Doug being put into that position, that experience for him as a head coach, this roster as a whole, especially down this stretch where teams in the Western Conference are just weird night in and night out. Yep.
And having, like, when Sabonis is there, they run a lot of stuff through him. And when Monk is there, he's running the offense too. He's pushing the pace. Both those guys not being there tonight impacted things. You could even see it to start the fourth quarter when Denver was going on a run and Valanciunas was still on the bench. I think they started the fourth with Fultz, Levine, LaRavia, Keegan, and Lyles. That lineup hasn't played a ton together.
No.
And it just looked like no one totally knew exactly where to be at times, who was going to lead the show a little bit. I don't love Levine being the guy that's initiating the offense.
Why?
I want him in attack mode. He's just not a point guard to me.
Sure.
It doesn't mean he can't handle a little bit and bring up the ball. And maybe it looks better with different guys around him. I want him in attack mode. And I felt like throughout, especially in that first half, it seemed like he was more looking to get others involved.
Okay.
And it's like, no, we need you.
Yeah.
We need you to be the guy, which he did in that fourth quarter,
And
knocking
that's what
down
I
some
was
big
gonna
shots.
say. It was the fourth quarter. And when he started stepping up, knocking down some of those big shots with that smooth shot, it was exactly what you needed to see. But I also thought he was, like you said, seeking it out. And he saw DeMar coming down every other possession and putting something up, right?
Yeah.
And you laugh about that. And I don't see it as a bad thing because he was shooting so well, you know? And I mean, he finished with 35 points and it was working. They were up while he was doing it. What I don't like about it is that, and I don't think this is his fault, it takes everyone out of the rhythm of what they were doing and what was working as a team. And the team has to do a better job of adjusting to that. And if he starts missing buckets and then he's not passing, that's when we got a problem.
Yeah, I felt in the first time, I think he started 5 of 15, you know? And
Yeah.
I'm watching going, okay, you know, last game there was so much balance, right? It seemed like no guy was taking more than 15 shots. It was just right
I didn't
around
realize
there.
it was 5 of 15.
Yeah, I think he started 5 of 15. And so he finished pretty strong, right?
Yeah,
he ends
he
up
did.
14 of 32. He had 35 points. 18 of those points came in the third quarter. And it seemed like almost every possession down, he was getting the ball.
Every
and
possession.
He was hitting threes. I mean,
Uh-huh.
he hit one over Jokic. I was like, oh my God. And I don't know. I am still not completely used to watching him because there are just so many times I watch, and I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm just like, that don't take it, makes it.
I know.
Don't take that shot, makes
No,
it.
no,
And
no,
I'm
no.
like-
Yes.
And I think I am just so I'm not used to a lot of ISO ball.
Yeah.
For the team I watch
Yeah.
closely. You know, I've obviously seen DeMar play over the years. I've watched isolation artists at times. He was going, and it was like he knew he was going, and he was going to keep going. I think tonight they almost needed that from him.
Yeah.
Because
They
of
did.
being shorthanded, and the offense wasn't smooth at all times. So it's like, all right, let's get in the rock and let's go.
But you as a team
Yeah.
needs to find a way of still moving without the basketball when he is going in ISO mode. So then the next possession down or the next whatever possession you come back down, you are throwing something else that is different at the defense. And now when I did bring up guys moving without the basketball with Mike Bibby on the post-game show, and I was like, yeah, why aren't more guys just like relocating or whatever? And he's like, you know, you don't want to, it's ISO ball, so you don't want to run through his space and through his lane. And I'm like, I completely understand that. I wasn't saying like someone like flex cut all the way to his corner, you know. I understand staying like near the weak side and everything, but I think you can still have some different type of actions where if you were to screw with the defense, DeMar would find you. Like, his vision is there. Even when he's looking for his, he gets in those pickles and he's like, ah, shit.
But they were just going to play it straight up, and it's like,
I know.
they were not throwing doubles at him. And it was like, okay, you're not going to double me. I'm in a groove right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to get to my spots and feel good about it. So, yeah, DeMar tonight only shot 4 free throws too. So I'm sure that's a number he's looking at going, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me tonight? But DeMar, man, when he gets going like that,
my God, it's fun.
special. It's special. It's like the isolation players that have the ability to just get to their spots when there's like good defense on them. Doesn't matter.
It's like, I'm doing this again. Okay, I'm going to do this again. I'm doing it again. And like when he's on too.
Yep.
And they were up for most of the time that he was on. It just, when it did get stagnant, you mentioned to me too, you're like, man, this is when they missed Malik Monk and his playmaking and pushing the pace. And it's like, yeah, it just would have created a little something else.
First half, non-Jokic minutes. That was pretty much the start of the second quarter because he plays the entire first, right? So in the second quarter, Denver outscored Sacramento 10-6. In the fourth quarter, Denver outscored Sacramento 12-3 when Jokic was on the bench. And I felt like the athleticism of that group that Denver had out there was problematic. Like they came in and it was just a different tempo, right?
God.
You got a lot of long guys
Line
out
drive,
there.
downhill.
Yeah, and
going.
the second chance opportunities, hitting threes. Like
How many 11 offensive rebounds led to 26 second chance points?
so that was pretty brutal.
Yeah, that was
Also, real fast, shout out to DeRozan passing Patrick Ewing on the
yeah.
all-time points list tonight.
Still
too.
under Steph Curry. We'll stay under Steph Curry,
Sure.
but great job.
He needed 27 points to pass Patrick Ewing, and he finished with 35. I think he passed him in the third quarter.
Pretty wild.
Yep.
Pretty wild season for him on that list. Yes.
What were you gonna go?
Turnovers.
Yeah, it wasn't a terrible
No,
number.
but
They had some crucial ones.
They did. And they had some crucial ones before, or I think it was in the second quarter. And then they had some crucial ones down the stretch. I think was it the second quarter that maybe it was third? I don't even know. But there was one, what?
Nothing. I just laugh when you do that. Was
Why?
it maybe the
Why does it matter? Why does it matter?
because I could just look it up for you. Second quarter, they had 5 turnovers. Denver had 4. Denver only scored 1 point off their second quarter turnovers. In the fourth quarter, Sacramento had 4 turnovers that turned into 7 points.
Okay, well, I still don't know when this specific possession was, but Trey Lyles had taken out the basketball and there was like 0.6 left on the clock. I think it was before the half. And
You mean when Valanciunas fouled?
was that the one? And then so Trey Lyles passes it up to Keon up the floor and it goes out of bounds.
Oh,
but
okay,
because he
yeah.
took it out baseline, that is where the Denver Nuggets were going to take it out. Yeah. And then they ended up missing it. But it gave them that extra possession. And I just remember it just felt like sloppiness down that stretch going into the half. I know. Just some, like you said, crucial turnovers is what it felt
I feel like we are really nitpicking tonight, and it's fine.
We are.
I want to emphasize something. I love the fight tonight.
I had fun.
If anything, this road trip made me feel so much better about the team. Even this game tonight, there are obviously things we just talked about. They're like, oh my God. But dude, watching Keegan Murray battle Jokic, watching Keegan Murray have 2 chase down blocks, almost had a third that they called a goaltend, which I saw the replay. Was it a goaltend?
I thought.
Did it hit the backboard
I thought
first?
it did.
It was close to me.
Yeah.
Either way.
Great effort.
He was relentless out there. He was battling Jokic. I thought he did a pretty good job with that task too.
The effort all around from this Kings team tonight is what made this game so enjoyable for me. I mean, sure, being up for most of the game, that was fun to watch. But at the same time, I just thought through all 4 quarters, even through the mistakes that we are criticizing and nitpicking, the effort was always there. And the fight, the playing with force. And sure, they made some bad mistakes, especially on the defensive end, just allowing guys some of these line drives to the basket and everything. But at the same time, overall with this game, I'm like, okay, good experience game. How can you learn from this and use it for the rest of this stretch?
And of course, they went to the Jokic Murray pick and roll late, which just creates stuff, and that's always a challenge.
It's difficult to guard.
Yeah, the Kings are 0-3 against Denver this season. So next up, the San Antonio Spurs. A couple other things from this game. Anything else we missed? We talked about Deebo. We talked about Keegan. Oh, let's give Valanciunas some love too.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know, he didn't have the matchup tonight, but he had to make sure to be in positions to help.
I was going to say, how
to
many
rebound,
times? Yep.
To score. He ends up with 19 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals on an 8 of 14 shooting in just under 32 minutes.
Dude, he was cleaning shit up. He was being in the right place. What?
The Kings got a starting caliber center as their backup now.
I know.
And
they needed that.
I know I said this last podcast, but dude, if they did not have Valanciunas right now, where would they be as a team? Especially with Sabonis down.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah,
It wouldn't be pretty.
He had 4 offensive rebounds as well in this game. I mean, it's the perfect type of guy, and his size, his ability to score inside. I will say that I thought there were times when the Kings did get sluggish. They didn't get him the ball. Like when Doug put him back in, Jokic was still on the bench in the fourth quarter, and it's like let's get him the ball faster, and they just missed him. It just seemed like the Kings were a little indecisive at times, especially without Malik Monk tonight. It felt like they were just a step slow. In the NBA, when you don't make that pass right away or you don't make that cut right away, you're a hair late, everything breaks down.
Yeah, and those moments happened, but it's like you said, with Jonas Valanciunas, 8 of 14 from the field as well. I love what he's been able to add, but in a game like this where you knew there was going to be different challenges, and again, he stepped up to all the challenges in the 6 assists as well. Being able to share the basketball, find your teammates, and when you're missing guys like Malik Monk and Domantas Sabonis who like to share the basketball, it was a nice contribution.
Keon Ellis finished with 11 points, 7 rebounds, 4 of 9 shooting, 1 of 4 from downtown. Levine ends up with 20, 7 of 16, 3 of 7 from downtown. He also had 6 dimes. Sacramento finished with just 22 assists. Those assist numbers went down.
Oh, yeah.
They had 12 turnovers.
Will Z had a stat, and I forget the exact numbers, but it was like first quarter 8, second quarter 4, third quarter 9, or 9, whatever. And then fourth quarter 1.
Well, they end up, what did they shoot in the fourth quarter? They were awful in the fourth quarter.
It wasn't good.
I think I wrote it down somewhere. But...
You did on one of your notes, I think. On one of your many notes.
Yeah. Fourth quarter, Kings were 6 of 20, 2 of 8 from 3, 4 turnovers, and 1 assist. 17 points.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, so I think obviously the offense sputtering, but they picked a bad time to have a bad quarter.
Yeah.
And defensively, just the help at times just wasn't the right spot at the right time. I was watching it back while I was waiting for you to look at some of the breakdowns, and it's just like miscommunications, you know?
Yep.
Guys out of position, or hey, you turn the ball over, you're in transition, there's cross matches, and you don't have the matchups that you want. All of a sudden, Valanciunas is not on Westbrook now, you know, and then he's helping on Jokic, and wait, who is covering Westbrook in the corner? Oh, he's open for 3. You'll take it. Look, I know Westbrook's not a good 3-point shooter, but I swear, anytime he plays the Kings, I'm convinced they're going in, and they go in. I was looking at his last 10 games against Sacramento. I think he's hit like 15 threes or something like that. It's crazy.
People like shooting against the Kings. And yeah, overall though, like we said, I think fun game, good for this team, their experience going forward. And I'm fine with this last game of the road trip.
And now you get ready.
Here we go.
Friday night, it's going to be a vibe. Energetic. Kings, Spurs. Are you ready? We got more of the podcast coming up in just a second. Should mention that tonight's podcast is presented by our friends over at Sentivo Vineyards and Winery, Morgan Reagan.
Man, I could use some of that wine right now. And they are seriously.
Why not?
Okay. They're seriously the best. And not only are they the best, they have the best wine. They have a new tasting room coming up in Fairfield. That'll be open in spring 2025. You can go to CentivoVineyards.com. You can become a wine member. There's so many perks there, but also you can check out all of their bottles. Centivo Vineyards is also proud partners of the Sacramento Kings and Sac Republic FC. So, like I said, head to CentivoVineyards.com.
Also presented by our friends over at Golden One Credit Union. Hold up the ones because we are all one with Golden One. There's no better place to go than Golden One Credit Union for all your financial needs. Also, if you're a Kings fan, talk about perks galore, Morgan Reagan. Join for up to 50% off Kings home games, 15% off Kings merch. And if you're at a game, you never know during a timeout, Scott Freshour could be like, hey, hold that Golden One debit card up and maybe you get an upgrade.
Yeah.
Dude, early access.
Huge.
Watch team warm up and stuff. It's awesome. Anyway, go sign up today. Go to goldenonecreditunion.com or scan that QR code. Golden One Credit Union, the official credit union of the Sacramento Kings. Getting choked up. Sorry.
It's okay.
It's like I almost need medic ambulance.
Oh, woo, woo, woo. Not wine. You need Medic Ambulance. That's right. We're thrilled to team up with Medic Ambulance, the trusted name in emergency medical services across Northern California. From life-saving responses to being the team behind the scenes at your favorite events, Medic is there to serve. When seconds matter, trust the professionals setting the standard in patient care. Medic is the official emergency medical response partner of Sac Republic and Stingers Up, Sac State Athletics. Learn more at medicambulance.net.
Also presented today by our friends over at
Rocket Money. It's like I always say, it's a new month, so make sure to check out your finances. What subscriptions do you have? I hope you're all budgeting right now. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings.
Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 billion in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's premium features.
Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/game on. That's rocketmoney.com/game on.
That's rocketmoney.com/game
on.
Appreciate their support of the Deuce and Mo podcast. I asked a poll question tonight to the basketball sickos, the true basketball sickos who are here after a loss, hours after.
Yeah, amazing, you guys.
How do you feel about a 3-1 trip?
Okay.
The options, great, solid, or blah.
Blah. Okay, where are you at?
I'm going to be honest, great.
Yeah, I'm with you. I feel great. I feel really great. And at first I was going to pick solid because I thought solid was better than great. I know.
No, to me, solid is like solid. That's solid, right?
Well,
Or would you go, it's solid?
I guess is it subjective?
Ask me how I'm doing.
Oh, how are you doing?
Solid.
Okay, ask me how I'm doing.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
See,
But like,
great's better.
okay.
I mean, now do it again.
Okay, how are you doing?
Solid.
Okay, now
No one would ever say that, right? How you doing?
solid.
So stupid. Great is better than solid.
Okay. And it's in all caps.
Anyway, the people have spoken. 54% of the people say solid.
Probably because they were confused.
I don't know. Is that true, you think? My next poll question. What is better, great or solid?
Oh, my
That's
God.
interesting. Make sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe. It just helps us grow. So my next question for you.
Uh-huh.
Who would be your simply the best player of the game?
I feel like it's got to be DeMar.
DeMar DeRozan.
Even in a loss, I want to go with DeMar.
Not going to go with the Denver Nuggets player tonight.
No.
Okay. And there's some good candidates. You had Westbrook, 25 points in this game.
4 of 7 from
Jokic,
3. I got
Murray.
it. Yeah.
Shot a lot of free throws tonight. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Jamal,
yeah.
14 of his 24th the line.
Oh,
Hit free throws tonight.
good job.
Um,
Yeah, I got DeMar. Who you got? Oh, Jonas is a good one.
Yeah, I'm going Valanciunas, dude.
That's fair. Dude, and 2 steals.
19 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals in 31 minutes. Are simply the best player of the game. It's what I said earlier. Like, where would they be without him? And even tonight, like, you have the luxury of having a guy with his size. You didn't even have to use him on Jokic, but he could still find ways to impact the game. Like, DeRozan was awesome offensively. I thought this guy was really well-rounded tonight.
I agree. And you said this before, having a starter caliber backup big. That's just super impressive. I'm so glad the Kings have been able to get someone like this.
Someone in the chat says it looks like Valanciunas is wearing a singlet. Like it's just one. It's not even a jersey with shorts.
Okay.
It's just one. It'd be so funny if they made basketball uniforms like that, a singlet.
No, it
That'd
wouldn't.
be dope.
That would be stupid.
Simply the best player of the game, presented by our friends over at Northwest Exterior. Celebrate their 30th anniversary with amazing deals. Go to northwestexteriors.com. You need new windows. There's no better place to go than the experts at Northwest Exteriors, because Morgan Reagan, they are
Simply the best.
Trust
Northwest.
Okay, Morgan Reagan.
My lipstick is. I could like reapply my lipstick, but I'm like, it's so weird because
Yeah, why would you?
Well, I usually don't have my. I usually take my lipstick off from a post game.
Yeah.
Before I do a podcast, because otherwise it does this. Because like in like before a show, like I'm reapplying every freaking commercial break.
I mean, I know how it is.
Yeah, I should do that actually.
I'm glad you did that. It was really
Okay.
necessary for the podcast. Morgan, I feel like we should play the game before we go into King Spurs.
Okay.
Is that fair? Or do you
Yeah.
want to go King Spurs into the game?
I don't know what the game is. I mean, I kind of do. So
you do
like,
know what the game is. It's called Who Did That?
then let's do King Spurs and then who did that?
All right, next up, Friday night. The Kings are back in action, and it's a big game. But to be honest, they're all big games down the stretch.
Yep.
There's not a lot of games left in the NBA season. 32-29 for Sacramento. They're trying to make sure that they can not only stay in the play-in race, stay 7-8.
That's what I said.
If not, try to get that top 6. 7-8 would be perfect,
Yeah, 7-8.
right? Because you just need to win one to
Exactly.
get in. You don't want to do the 9-10 dance again where you win one. I got to win another one just to get in and play OKC.
No.
Let's get that 7-8 or 6. I know it would take a lot. Anyway, the first step to that, the San Antonio Spurs come to town. De'Aaron Fox returns to Sacramento for the first time since the trade. And there's been so much noise surrounding De'Aaron Fox since he left, right?
A lot.
A lot. Some comments on social media, unfollowing Sabonis, people asking about that, him responding. What did he say? Something saying, I mean, coworker or something like that. I forget exactly what he said.
Just because your teammates doesn't mean your friends or something.
Something like that. And then you had what happened at the Kings' last home game when they promoted the Kings Spurs game that featured De'Aaron Fox on the graphic, and there was loud boos
Massive
throughout
boos.
Golden One Center. It's going to be a fascinating night, an emotional night. The guy
Yeah.
played here for 8 seasons. He came into the league as a 19-year-old kid, went through the lows of lows with Sacramento and the ultimate high of snapping a 16-year playoff drought with that original Beam team where he made an all-NBA team. It was special. It was
Very
special for
special.
him throughout his time here. And now he's in San Antonio because he was ready to move on. I think is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Was that a good, well, I guess he got to the point where he was ready to move on.
And I think some of his points are valid when you're told, hey, things are going to change. Like, I'm not going to fire another head coach. Like, I'll change. I promise. Things will be different.
Yeah.
And then another head coach is fired. That trust gets lost and you want to go in a different direction. I think both parties are totally fair in all of this to go.
It was a
in
breakup.
Exactly. And that's where, like, I think the sad part is, though, is that because it is both parties, one party had to break up with the entire city. And that's a lot of people you have to either please or are going to have so many different perspectives and all the different things. And I think all the emotions and all the feelings are valid. But my one thing for me, when I look at this situation, this is just my realistic take, is that all the things you just mentioned of all the time he was here and how he carried him and his family, carried himself here. I'm just like, I got nothing but love. But also, be a fan. That is what sports fandom is. Do whatever you need to do, emotions and feelings or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's just how I personally feel going into Friday.
I think someone in the chat just had like the best thing.
What?
Show appreciation for him during the intros.
Yeah.
And then boo him the rest of the game.
And then boo the
And that's
shit
fine.
out of
Like,
him.
Yeah. But I don't know how it's going to go. I think it's going to be a mixed reception for him. To me, you've seen so many of these like returns over the years. Durant got booed in OKC.
Yep.
Like Kawhi got booed in San
Paul
Antonio.
George in
Greg
LA.
Popovich grabbed the mic and told him not to boo. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it just happens. And I think if it is a mixed reception, I think maybe years down the road, it won't be a mixed reception. Feelings are raw. The emotions are raw from it. It did not. Why am I like,
I don't know.
there was no fog tonight.
I know. And this is the most you've choked up.
Yeah. I just hope it's not like something that's ugly. I don't want like Fox, don't say anything dumb. Kings fans, don't do anything dumb. Like, just go kick his ass.
Yeah.
You know? And
Yeah.
look.
Actions speak louder than words.
Yeah. I mean, I like De'Aaron. I even see in the chat, snake. Like, I don't even know how that got started and why it got started. It's dumb. Like, I don't get it. Like, the guy eventually wanted to leave Sacramento. Okay. And I didn't agree with something he tweeted that he deleted about like Sacramento just a couple of weeks back.
Okay.
Because my perspective on the whole situation is, hey, it may not have gone exactly how you wanted it here. And maybe things that happened in Sacramento while you played here didn't make you happy.
Yeah.
And it made you frustrated. Maybe you just felt let down. At the end of the day, they did right by you. They sent you to the place you wanted to go.
For sure.
You're in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Now. Like, focus on that.
Yeah. And I mean, that's ultimately what you're hoping, that it's just going in that direction.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. Everything's going to fade away. But like, also you have to remember too, this is his first time having a team breakup. This is this organization's, I guess, under this GM, first time having this big of a breakup.
Yep.
Right? And with the player. And so like everyone's new to this whole breaking up thing. And so everyone's handling it differently. And you just want to make sure that when you look back on this situation that you're not going to regret anything. And that's why it's all about really focusing on what's ahead. So
What type of game do you think he's going to have? Do you think it's going to be a big game? Do you think are we getting angry De'Aaron Fox?
I feel like we're going to get angry De'Aaron. And that makes me nervous.
Now, who do you think the Kings start on him? Keegan?
Or Keon?
I think Monk's going to try to come back for that game. So,
Okay. Sprained toe?
I don't know.
I mean, he obviously kept playing in the Mavs game with it, but
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure he wants to play in that game bad.
I know.
To go at Fox a little bit.
Well, and it's tough too, because then you'd be down Monk and Sabonis again. And it's just like, damn, dude. Damn.
Yeah. But I mean, that's one of those. Spurs are banged up, of course, too, without Victor Wembanyama. But I think it's going to be a fun game. I just hope the Kings win, dude. I just how I feel anytime a guy like that comes back. I said the same thing with Halliburton, with Cousins. I don't care how you feel about those guys. I want Fox to go. I'll be nice. Go 2 for 17. I want you 2 for 17. I want you clinking a couple of shots bad. I want an air ball. I want a play where like Malik crosses you up. I want a play where Keegan blocks you.
There's certain certain plays make me feel awkward, and I don't like that feeling. And that goes for anyone. It doesn't even have to be De'Aaron. Like, this is the same thing you did with Tyrese. You said you wanted that when he came back, and I remember it was the same thing for me. I was like, I just like, I feel awkward when other people feel sad or awkward. I don't like conflict. I really don't like it. But at the same time, I don't want him to do well in Sacramento. No, of course not. I want to feel good walking out of that arena tomorrow. And I have mixed feelings. Like, I don't feel emotional going into every single game right now. Like, even tonight, I didn't have expectations. I was just excited for a good night of basketball that we got. Friday, it's like I have all these nerves, and I don't like this feeling.
I'm not there yet. I don't know. When it comes to game day, I will probably have playoff Deuce is going to be in the building. I'm going to have a different level of focus. I felt it a little bit tonight because it felt like a playoff game to me with the physicality and motions. But it's a Friday night. Fox is back. Spurs, Kings. Kings coming off a great road trip. The fans are going to be juiced for the team. They're playing pretty well right now. The Kings got to win that game. They got to win that game, and then they got the Clippers after that. These are a couple of big. I mean, they're all big, but like these two specifically, because then you can gain some ground on the Clippers as well. Big game coming up on Friday night. I cannot wait. I think the Kings smash them. Okay. I shouldn't have said that.
No, I don't know why you did.
Are you ready for my brand new game?
Yeah.
What's it called again?
Who he is.
Who he is?
I don't know.
Who did that?
Who did that?
No, it's called Who Did That?
Oh.
As you know, we were watching the Kings game tonight.
Uh-huh.
So, we didn't get to see the rest of the NBA. Morgan Reagan has no idea some of the things that happened tonight. And you're not going to look at the screen over here.
Okay.
We're just going to play a little game called Who Did That? Celtics beat the Blazers tonight 128-118. Two Boston Celtics, Morgan. Two scored 40-plus points in a game. Who did that?
Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum.
Oh, no. Jason Tatum did not play tonight.
Duh! Al Horford?
Al Horford finished with 12 points and Jaylen Brown finished with 18. Who did that? It's a tough one, Morgan. You're not going to get it. But I'll let you guess again. Porzingis did not play in the game.
I was like,
Neither did Drew Holiday.
what?
Yeah, and they had two players score 40 or more. One off the bench.
Peyton Pritchard?
Peyton Pritchard.
Okay.
Morgan, Peyton Pritchard tonight, 43 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. He knocked down 10 of 16 from 3. 10 of 16 from 3.
Holy shit. Who was the other one?
Derek White, 41
Wow.
points. He hit 9 of
that's a good-
17 from
Why did I
3.
guess him?
He and Pritchard combined to make 19 of the Celtics' 23 points tonight. Who did that? You like this game?
Love it.
Okay, good. Sometimes it's me doing this on the fly too, but that was a good opening one to see what was happening around the league.
So you are doing this on the fly?
Oh yeah, Morgan, just relax. Sometimes it's fun to get a surprise one. That's the whole point of
That
this
was
game.
surprising for me.
Yeah, that was probably the best one I think on this game. Do you like the theme song to it too? No?
I love the theme song.
Okay, I'm going to read you this stat line.
Okay.
You tell me. OKC Memphis.
Okay.
41 points, 8 assists on 14 of 25 shooting, 10 of 10 at the line tonight. Who did that?
Only
in
10.
OKC Memphis. 10
I'm
of 10 at the
gonna
line.
guess SGA, but I feel like he would have more free throws.
Wow. You're wrong. It was SGA, though.
Oh.
41 points on 14 of 25 shooting, 3 of 5 from downtown. They are now 40 games above 500 at 51-11.
So I was right though.
You're wrong that the 10 free throws thing. It can't be him.
I just figured you'd have like
I think you think
15.
he gets the free throw line more than he does. All good. All right, next up on Who Did That? Clippers Pistons tonight.
Okay.
I'm going to read you this stat line. 50 points.
Ooh.
6 of 13 from 3. 16 of 20 at the free throw line. 14 of 24 shooting overall.
16 of 20. That's an SGA free throw line set. I can see you rolling your eyes.
Who
did that? Was it Cade?
That's a great guess, Morgan Reagan, in the Clippers game. No. Cade did finish with 37 points, 10 assists, and 7 rebounds, though, in the loss to the Clippers.
Harden?
James Harden, 50 points tonight. You're exactly right, Morgan.
Wow.
On Who Did That?
I guess there's not too many to choose from, so never mind. I was going to give myself credit, but...
Oh, yeah, don't give yourself too much credit.
It's rude.
Where is my box score? Scanning to see if there's any additional ones that we should talk about.
Anyone have like crazy amount of assists?
No, I would have jumped on that pretty fast. I think that's all. That's it for Who Did That Tonight. Who did that tonight? Good job.
It's a good way of going around the NBA.
It is. Yeah.
I like it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good game, Deuce.
Shout out to the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight, too. They clinched a playoff spot. The first team in the league to clinch a playoff spot.
Wow. That's where we're at.
Yes.
Well,
And Morgan, just so you know, in terms of free throw attempts per game, SGA second in the NBA at 9 a game.
okay. So, yeah, he was above his average. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, okay. I totally forgot to do this, and you're going to probably say not to do it. You want to hear like a little bit of Doug and just hear how frustrated he sounded after the game? Don't give me that look. Here's a little bit of Doug Christie.
Guys stuck to the game plan at halftime. I told them, things are gonna change, and in the second half, 4 for 15. In free throw discrepancy, I thought the guys attacked the rim. They played a solid game. You got to give them credit too. Really good team. Last game of a road trip, the fight that the guys showed, especially with 2 of our starters down, I thought was super big time. There's a couple of times where you normally call things, but we had lineups that they hadn't jived, so that got us a little discombobulated. But for the most part, you don't want to lose. You don't, especially as competitive as this one's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt, but this is our league, and you got to deal with it. But proud of our guys as far as game plan, discipline, aggressiveness, physicality. Yeah.
Doug, I'm not trying to get you fined or anything, so I won't ask you to speak on the free throws themselves directly. But maybe in the flow of a game, when you're maybe not getting the whistle that maybe you'd expect, how do you keep the guys engaged and focused on the task at hand there on the offense?
Because my job is to deal with the refs, and their job is to hoop. And that's what I expect out of them, and they know this. So when they start talking to the refs and barking at the refs, I'm like, yo, chill that out. We don't do that. We here to hoop. Let me deal with them, and I will state our case and live to fight another day. I want their minds focused on the game plan, and for the most part, we did that. There was a little bit where we got, like I said, a little discombobulated, but in a high leverage situation, it's to be expected sometimes. You don't want it, but it happens.
Was there any? How do you assess sort of the fourth quarter for you guys and the discrepancy in the score and offense?
You know, I have to go back and look at it, to be honest with you. Like, it's easy to come here and say a whole bunch of stuff until you go back. I mean, I thought we got a couple stops. There was the ability to score in the open court, and we weren't able to convert a couple times. And then they came right back and scored. They knocked down some big shots. Some of those guys who were shooting and making shots, we're gonna live with them shooting and making shots, and just try to be as good as we can against MVP and Jokic. And that's kind of the game plan as far as it went. And some nights they're going to make them, some nights they're not. Tonight they made some shots, so you tip your hat to them and shake their hand and head on home.
Given the opponent, was that one of the best defensive performances you've seen from this team since you've been on the staff last few years?
Well, I would say that how I explained it to them is, as we continue down this path, the opponents are going to get better, and it's going to be more of a playoff atmosphere. So the approach to this is going to be more playoff-esque. And then in the fact that there's a game plan, and in the playoffs, the plan switches because people adjust in different things based upon what we saw, what I watched on video and different things. This was a style of basketball that could be conducive to winning on the road. As I said, unfortunately, we didn't have everybody, but those guys gave it up. So to your question, yeah, I think this is back-to-back two of our better defensive performances, and they continue to grow. You're going to have ups and downs, but if they give that type of effort, I've always said that's the type of effort that Sacramento Kings fans respect and can live with.
Damn right. That fired me up, dog. That's getting me fired up for Friday night. No, it's true though. I mean, that type of response, shorthanded, and they bring that type of force on the defensive end for a team that's not known for playing defense.
Last 2 games.
Love it. Last 5 games, Morgan.
Yeah.
The Kings in the last 5 games are number 1 in the NBA in defensive rating.
Love it.
And look, you have to acknowledge the opponents on this road trip too, right? They played, I mean, during that span of 5 games, Charlotte, Utah, Houston, Dallas, and now Denver.
And you played basketball the right way. Whether you were shorthanded, whether you were playing a shitty team, whether you were playing a better team. This isn't a championship team. So when you have those wins and those improvements and that growth, what?
It's not a championship team. Breaking news. Thanks. Just a joke. I was trying to time it out exactly perfect, Morgan. Sorry.
To what?
To what you just said. They're not a championship team.
I know.
Anyway, continue.
Yeah. No, that was it.
Okay. Yeah, I just appreciate how they're playing defense right now. And sorry for that turnover just now. I just thought we were reading each other well.
Oh, I thought you were fine.
Okay.
I didn't even care that I didn't think you interrupted me.
Doug was clearly upset about the fouls tonight, but I'm glad he carries that type of that fire, but he still appreciates how his team played tonight. And I hope that fire that he has, the team has, they bottle that shit up and unleash it on the San Antonio Spurs.
And guess what else he said that we mentioned earlier was he's like, let me talk to the refs. He said it again in there. Let me get frustrated.
Get a technical, Doug.
Yeah.
Get teed up.
But his guys also have to trust that he will do those things for them. But yeah, I agree.
The chat reminded me of
what?
One more thing, Morgan. Who did that bonus that I forgot about?
A bonus.
Bucks, Mavs, the shorthanded Mavs.
Oh.
Even more shorthanded tonight. Kai Jones, who was awesome, did not play. He got hurt, so he didn't play tonight.
Jesus.
They started Dinwiddie, Christie, Dwight Powell, Najee Marshall, Klay Thompson.
Okay.
They only had 8 healthy players tonight.
Okay.
They lost 137-107 by 30 to the Bucks. This player had 10 points, 14 assists, and 11 rebounds in 26 minutes.
For the Mavs?
I didn't say.
Oh, I have to guess.
I could say it's for the Bucks if you'd like, because it is.
Okay. Yeah, I needed that because then I was like, for the Mavs, I was like, is there going to be someone random?
10 points, 14 assists, 11 rebounds. He actually secured it in 18 minutes, but played 26 minutes. The funny thing about his game with that triple-double, 4 of 11 shooting, 0 of 5 from 3.
Kyle Kuzma?
That's a good guess.
Thanks.
You're not going to get this one. Kevin Porter Jr. tonight.
Oh, okay.
10 points, 14 assists, 11 rebounds, 4 of 11 shooting, 0 of 5 from downtown. That's the final one on Who Did That?
Bonus.
Sabonis. Speaking of Sabonis, he was shooting around a little bit before the game.
He was.
According to the G-Man.
He was.
So that's encouraging. We'll see when he returns. Hopefully it's not going to be too long. Do you have final thoughts from this one?
Final thoughts would be, I love how this team has been playing with or without some of their main guys. And I really hope they continue this. And it's very important for them to play this style of basketball on Friday. What? I'm not even on clap that ass. I'm on get the effing win.
Maybe I'll talk to the team before the game, huh?
Mr. Inspirational. I mean, everyone's going to drop 49 plus if you talk to
It's
them.
not about dropping 49. It's just about having the right focus.
I love that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Honestly, for those who missed it, Morgan put this out.
I love this.
It was pretty insane. Mason Jones had 49 points last night. 49 points, hit 10 threes, 3 away from the G League record. And after the game, we interview him after the game.
Yeah, we were calling the game.
Yeah.
And so we're interviewing him, and he just comes running up.
And here's what he had to say after the game.
Jones with a really fun performance, and we're excited to talk to him after this game. Let's
I had a 50 ball because Deuce, we had a great conversation last game. He told me to keep going. You know what I mean? I need that positivity. That's my guy. And you look here today, it's 50 ball. I'm saying 50 ball even though it's a 49 ball.
I was going to say.
But I'm giving all the credit to Deuce because he keeps me going. And you know what I mean? I need that. So all praise to Deuce for this 49, 50 ball, whatever going on. All praise.
Deuce asked me at one point in this game, he goes, what do you think Mason Jones is feeling at this point? I couldn't put it into words. Can you?
I was just thinking about that conversation me and Deuce had, and he was just telling me how to keep going. You know what I mean? How perseverance and dedication, it all comes together at the right time, and you just got to keep waiting for your opportunity. And tonight, it was just my time to show everybody who I am as a player and as a team and a leader, and that's what I wanted to do, and we came out with the dub.
I was looking back. You had 6 made threes in an NBA game when you were with Houston. You hit 7 before tonight in the G League game, and you hit 8 in college. Tonight you hit 10, so I think that is an official career high tonight. How's that sound?
Man, it feels good. It just it just goes to, like I said, the conversation, the work that I have, the work that I continue to put in with the SAC team and the Stockton team. It just continues to show, and that's what I am as a player. I just want to continue to show and not be the one that talks. Just let my actions do the talking.
And last thing, I'm going to need one of these Deuce pep talks before these games, so I have the best game ever.
Nah, trust me. I don't think you really understand why I say that, but he'll tell you when you get home. It's just we had a good conversation, and as a person like me who continues to work hard but never complains, sometimes you need that motivation from somebody else that's willing to give it to you, and Deuce gave me that, and you see,
wow,
that gets me going. So,
well, I'm glad you enjoyed that conversation, but you were the guy who did it on the floor tonight. Kings get the win, 136-127. You guys are 17-7, and like I say, just keep going. Keep going, man. Congratulations on the big game.
There's a
Thank you for showing that. Thank you, because I put that up because you guys, I literally started tearing as soon as we took off our mics. I started tearing up, and just like, what, and I'm like, that was the cutest, the sweetest thing that any interview that we've ever done. And the fact that Mason Jones, from a conversation that you had a couple days before, was that ecstatic and that willing to just give you all of that credit because of the conversation. He took it in. And your words matter, and words matter. And that's why it's so important to be encouraging and uplift people, especially when they might feel down.
In the moment, you have to understand. I still do it now because I'm watching it. I thought he was kind of trolling me at first. I thought
Of course you did, because you need therapy. That's why.
I'm in therapy.
Well, you need a little more.
I'm in therapy. I know it was a really cool moment. I was thought he was trolling, and I was also kind of shocked. I'm like, wow, I didn't realize it really stuck with him. Because to be honest, when I had the conversation, when he walked away, I was like, I don't know that it really stuck with him, to be honest.
And it's like it stuck with him.
And so I know some people ask, like, oh, well, what do you say to him? I just know, I was just reading his body language before a game. I'm like, you're hanging in there. And, we're around G League players and NBA players sometimes, and you just see, like, they go through shit. And when you're on a two-way deal, it's tough.
So
like,
many ups and downs.
You want it. You believe you should be at the next level.
Hell yeah.
You believe you should be playing every night.
Oh, yeah.
You want to be there, and you're on a two-way deal, and you're just like, what can I do to just get there and stay there?
Yep.
And it's tough. And so throughout a season, there are going to be like hurdles you have to go through. And my message to him was like, dude, you're putting in the work. And I know I'm not an NBA player, but I can relate to you on this. Like, I'm here doing this game, a G League game. I love doing this.
Yeah.
I'm not where I believe I should be right now.
Yeah.
I believe I should be at the NBA level. But
as a broadcaster,
you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep pushing because I know I'm good enough, and you just have to keep going. That's all we can do.
And I think it's special getting that outside perspective, not from a coach, not from a parent, not from a family member, not from a teammate, but from someone who's obviously not only around this sport 24/7, but around with being part of the broadcast and it being relatable to what you're doing even in your career in different ways. And I think hearing that, it was inspiring. And although, like, I'm not going to sit here today and just go, yeah, that's why Mason Jones is the reason why he scored 49 points. It's like he put in the work. He did everything. But the fact that he wanted to give Deuce love for their conversation the other night, I just think it just goes to tell you who Mason Jones is as a person. I think it's also very telling who you are as a person and how you do connect with so many with words and how you approach conversations. And I said this, and I don't need to just compliment you or anything, but like, you inspire me before every single game with the prep, the work ethic, all the different things. And that's why, like, don't ever stop being you or doing that, because it's important and it's contagious.
Thank you.
Shut up. Oh, now he's choking again.
Final thoughts. I like today's podcast better than last podcast. Still some things I probably could have done better. But the game tonight, it's crazy to feel pretty solid after a loss. And trust me, that doesn't happen all the time. But I feel like you said, if they approach this stretch run like they have against Houston, that win sticks with me. How they approach things tonight, things can be better.
Yep.
But they did it without two of their guys, Malik Monk and Domantas Sabonis. They're coming back home off that road trip at 3-1. They're in the thick of things. And now you get ready for Friday night. Have that approach. Have that same playoff level intensity against teams below 500 coming up on this stretch run. If you're playing the Spurs, I don't care. Treat them like there's Jokic out there. Treat them like there's LeBron and Luke. Like, you have to have that level of focus to the game plan, intensity, cohesion,
yes,
physicality,
all the
force, pace. Let's go.
Save it for Friday.
I can't wait for Friday.
It's already Thursday. So.
It's Thursday. We love you guys so much for hanging out. If you have thoughts on how the Kings are feeling, how you're feeling about the Kings, rather, after this 3-1 road trip, how you're feeling about tonight's game against the Nuggets. If you want to complain about the officials, do in the YouTube comments below. It just helps us grow. We appreciate you basketball sickos so much, but we gots to go.
You all are sickos for being here so late, and we love you. Have a wonderful rest of your night. See ya.
Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know.